As long as you have internet access, you can experience the quality courses and the diverse culture of Beijing Language and Culture University on eblcu.com. This is Beijing Language and Culture University, 北京语言大学, or for short, 北语, which is also known as the Mini United Nations. Every year, tens of thousands of foreign students around the globe come to study and live here on its campus. Since 1960s, Beijing Language and Culture University has become China's window on teaching the Chinese language and culture to foreign students. Foreign students of diverse nationalities and skin colors, together with Chinese students, create a unique language environment and cultural atmosphere on campus and enable the university to take the lead in walking onto the global stage. The Online Education College of Beijing Language and Culture University, taking eblcu.com, 网上北语, as its main teaching platform, focuses on cross-border distance Chinese international education and international promotion of Chinese culture. Up to now, eblcu.com has trained over 8,000 overseas paid students from more than 110 countries and regions around the world. 学中文，上网上北语 Learn Chinese with eblcu.com.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening. Can you hear
Good
me?
evening.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to start in about 1 minute.
1 minute. Okay.
So just checking
Hello.
if you guys can hear us well. If you can hear us,
Yes.
please type something on the chatting box. Maybe not all of you can like show your video on top of the meeting room, but you can type to chat with us. So if you can hear us, please type something in the chatting box. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Okay.
It's evening here, but maybe it's not like
Yeah.
afternoon or like morning in your place.
Yes, it is. It is. Probably it's morning or afternoon somewhere else on the other side of the globe.
So, okay, thanks for coming. Today will be our third lecture about Chinese culture. Okay, so maybe you can introduce yourself. Where are you from? Like most of the students are coming from Bank of China, right? In the classroom, most of students are coming
Okay.
from Bank of China. Maybe you can tell us which bank, like which branch you are coming from, and which country or which city you live in. We are in China, in Beijing, and it's evening here. And what's the time now in your place?
Hello, my name is Ewa Czarnecka. I'm working for Poland branch of Bank of China.
Welcome.
Now it's 2 o'clock. Welcome.
Okay.
Hello, thank you very much for this opportunity. It is 2 o'clock p.m. In Poland, in Warsaw now.
Okay, good afternoon.
So thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. And okay, so it's 8 p.m. now. It's time for our lecture tonight. So good evening, everyone. We have a series of lectures on contemporary China and Chinese culture, and today is our third lecture about Chinese food culture. The lecture will be in total about 1.5 hours. You can leave your message if you have any question about the topic today. We all have a 20 minutes question and answer part by the end of the lecture. So, yep. So you can type anything while we do the lecture, so we can discuss about that later. So at first, let me introduce our speaker tonight, Mr. Du Jingjie, Du 老师. Mr. Du received his
Hello.
master's degree. Yes, this is Mr. Du. Mr. Du received his master's degree of translation and interpreting at Macquarie University in Sydney, Australia. He has been working as an English teacher in North China Electric Power University. The courses he teaches in the university include English-Chinese interpretation, intercultural communication in business, and so on. Also, as a food blogger, Mr. Du loves to travel around different places, and he tried various food and shared them with local culture through social media, like Douyin, the Chinese version, TikTok. So tonight, let's welcome Mr. Du to introduce us Chinese food culture. And his topic is Chinese food, delicacies, and traditions. Let's welcome Mr. Du.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's definitely it's my great honor of being here and sharing with you my understanding about the Chinese cultures. And seriously, I don't think this is probably a lecture, but rather a moment that we can share with each other about your understanding about the food, maybe in China or in your country. And so the reason why I choose the title Chinese food, delicacies and traditions, and because when I studied overseas, I discovered that there were lots and lots of people living in some other countries. They couldn't have too many opportunities to get to know the real, authentic Chinese food. I still remember one day when I talked with the local guy at the train station about the Mongolian lamb. I know it's very popular, Cantonese, a stir-fried dish, the Mongolian lamb in Australia. But actually, in China, we consider it as, stir-fried, just simply stir-fried lamb pieces or lamb slices. But to many Australians, they might think, oh, wow, we call it the whole lamb. But in China, we have the roasted lamb. It's kind of Mongolian style, which means that we will roast a whole lamb and share it with some of our friends. So I believe that maybe some of the listeners overseas who probably will not have that opportunity of coming back to China and to enjoy that meal. But one day, I believe that one day you will come and visit China and try those dishes. Okay, let's keep moving on to our topic today. And basically tonight I'll share with you my food probably experiences relate to the following 4 points. And probably the first one would be Chinese food and its history. And you might be wondered about what the food would be like 1,000 years ago in China, or why it formed like this today. Okay, so we'll have probably brief talks and discussion about it. And then I probably will introduce you some delicacies from all over. What does that mean? It means that probably I will introduce you 8 kind of famous Chinese cuisines, which is very popular in China. And the third one probably foods and festivals. We have some traditional Chinese festivals and the typical food relate to the certain festivals. And I will probably introduce you a little bit about some typical traditional food that we might have during each festival. And the last one probably the etiquette of dining, which means that when we have food or have meals with some Chinese under the Chinese maybe surroundings, or maybe at a round table, what should we do and what should we not do while we're having Chinese meal? Okay, so let's have a look at the Chinese food and its history. So we know that Chinese food in China, and people consider eating as maybe the most important thing in our life. And eating is not just meant to fill the stomach. And like what I've mentioned here, it's like having food at one's disposal, being able to consume a good amount of food and knowing what and how to eat, all view as good fortune. So if we can have sufficient food at our home, probably we will think that, oh, wow, we are maybe we are thankful that we could still have so many food in our place. We have good fortunes. So when we talk about the food, and our Chinese have a common saying, the masses regard food as their heaven. Just like what I mentioned, that we put such a heavy strength in making the food and producing delicious meals to others. And because it means that the food is people's primary want. And eating is not definitely not just meant to fill a stomach. It's kind of fortune. The Chinese who sees eating as a fortune and life as an art, and not only create various kinds of regional food styles in its own vast land, but we also have spread Chinese food culture to far across the seas. So no wonder that you might encounter some of the Chinese restaurants overseas, like in Chinatown. You may have experiences of having, in mainland China, we do not have that experiences of having the Chinese dish called the 左宗棠 chicken, but it is quite popular overseas. But in mainland China, we sometimes, if you ask some Chinese, they've never heard of that dish before. So that's probably be some little bit difference between our understanding about the Chinese culture, Chinese food, and the food overseas. Okay, let's keep moving on. So now let's take a look at Chinese food and its history. So here I would like to expand some of my topics into the following points, like the foxtail millet and the rice, the 5 grains, the food made from grains, and also food from afar. So here we can see the picture of the foxtail millet. And you can see that as early as 5400 BC, the Yellow River is a place in the region where I live at the moment. And so probably including Beijing, and we consider that Yellow River region. So it's already saw growth of foxtail millet and has already adopted the method of crop storage in underground caves. So which means that probably 1,000 years ago, we've already developed some kind of farming technologies and having abundant food and grains, like the foxtail millet and the rice being produced. And also by 4800 BC, areas along the Yangtze River have been planted with rice, and we call it with a distinction of sticky or non-sticky rice. The earliest rice referred to the glutinous types of rice only. So by the 4800 BC, along the Yangtze River, which means that Southerners, they try to have their meals like staples from the planted rice. We call it glutinous rice. So we use glutinous rice to make some of the modern Chinese cakes and zongs, something like that, which we will use at certain festivals. So from here, you can discover that the people in northern part of China and people in southern part of China, around thousands of years ago, we have huge distinctions of our staples, of our main food, because we have different sources of the grain. Like in northern part China, people mainly focus on planting the foxtail millet. And in southern part China, we have the rice. Okay, so we probably, because of this, we have certain different culture of having a certain different Chinese food between the north and the south. And here is the 5 grains. And in China, we took the 5 grains seriously in the early days. Like you can see from the picture, and probably you might think, oh, they are not 5 grains, but 5 grains is not some kind of fixed names, but we still consider them as 黍、稷、麦、豆、麻, and dao. So I don't know whether you can understand the Chinese culture here. We have a saying like 五谷为养，五畜为益，五果为助，五菜为充. Okay, it means that the 5 grains, as they consider 5 grains as life support, the 5 fruits as complementary aid, the 5 meats as added benefits, and the 5 vegetables as substantial fill. So what are those 5 grains? Maybe you're curious about what is shu, what is ji, what is mai, what is do, and what is ma, and what is dao. So here I would like to explain a little bit to you know. The 5 grains, sometimes we call them the 6 grains, usually consist of shu. What is shu? Shu is kind of broom corn millet, sometimes refers to as yellow rice. So in China, some local people consider shu as yellow rice. They use those yellow rice to make some sticky main food, like we have steamed rice nowadays. And it's kind of a small glutinous yellow grain. So I don't know whether you have the same kind of shu in your country. And ji, like the word here, ji is what we call millet today. Has little of the head of 5 grains, and also shu and ji were the principal cereals of northern China at the time. So in northern part China, people would still feel interested in shu and ji. And mai, the word mai here, including barley and wheat. So here you can know that why we call them mai, because it consists of barley and wheat, and also dough. Dough in Chinese, I don't know whether you've learned how to write the Chinese dough, but it's the general term for all pot-bearing crops, grows in wet lowland areas. And this is also, dough is kind of main sources of protein for the Chinese. And also ma refers to the edible type of hemp, HEMP, and was the principal food for the farmers in ancient times. And also dao refers to the rice, which remain that the southerners would like to have the rice as their staples or the main food. Yeah, it's a little bit complicated, but I think probably you will understand a little bit. Maybe it's complicated to some of the Chinese as well. Okay, so let's take a look at the food made from grains. We have 2 kind of big differences between the northern part China and southern part China. In the northern part China, you might see that we like to have noodles, whether it's kind of stretched noodles, whether it's broad noodles, whether it's noodles with gravy. We love the noodles. And like in Beijing, we have 老北京炸酱面. Okay, so it's very popular food in Beijing. If you used to come to Beijing, I think you might have some experience of trying that. And in southern part of China, people love to have some kind of noodles. Maybe people will give its name the rice noodles. Okay, 米粉 or 米线, they are totally different. Maybe because 1,000 years ago, we have already planted the different crops or grains along the land. So here you can see, because the northern Chinese, their principal food was the wheat, so that we might have the produces like the broad noodles or something. And also, on the other hand, in the southern part of China, the principal food is rice-based. And let's take a look at some foods from afar. And altogether, a larger 18 Chinese scale food trading and spreading happened over 2,000 years ago, during the tremendous, prosperous, and powerful West Han Dynasty. And while we're growing up in China, when we're young, we might feel that, well, we have abundant food supplies, and we believe that all of those crops might be the local produces. But actually, while we're growing up, we gradually discover that, well, actually, some of the food or crops or fruits or vegetables definitely were not from the local producers, maybe from some other continent like Latin America, Africa, or maybe the Middle and Western Asia, or somewhere else. So like the grape, pomegranates, sesame, lima bean, walnut, cucumber, watermelon, muskmelon, carrot, fennel, celery, coriander, and other food species, which have its origins in the West and Central Asia, made their way into Central Han Chinese territory by the Wave Silk Road. So definitely here you can understand that thousands of years ago, well, during the Han or Tang dynasties, and China definitely had very close relations and complicated and close international relations with countries overseas. Actually, the pomegranate was a very famous local producer coming from the place where I used to live. It's my hometown in Xi'an, and we thought it might be the only producers here in that provinces, but actually it was not. Okay. And also you can see here some corn, which has its roots in Americas and has introduced to the Orient through the Europe, Africa, and West Asia. And also the mung bean. Mung bean is all very popular in China. We use mung bean to produce varieties of meals. Like we can use mung beans to we can stew the mung bean and make some mung bean soup, or we can use mung bean powder to make something like the jelly noodles. So mung bean was brought to China from India in the Northern Song Dynasty. Okay, it's been a long history, right? So let's take a look at some delicacies from all over. China's distinguished geographical and climate conditions and the resources in its many regions, together with the unique dietary habits of the local people, have forged many different styles of Chinese cuisines. So here, let's take a look at some of the Chinese cuisines. And basically, in China, although we have plenty different varieties of Chinese cuisines, both from northern part of China or southern China or western part of China or eastern part of China, and we still have a certain series of Chinese cuisines. And these probably 8 Chinese cuisines are well known to many Chinese and are hot. You see, such as Lu, Chuan, Yue, Su, Jing, Ming, Zhe, Xiang, Hui, and more. But sometimes you might feel that they might have conflict, because although we recognize those 8 Chinese cuisines, however, like Jing means the Beijing cuisines, but it cannot be ranked into those 8 Chinese cuisines. But nowadays, because the Jing cuisine developed very fast, and it has huge influence in China. So once I mentioned Jing cuisine, you might have some sort of understanding about the Beijing or Peking roast duck. So from here, you can see the picture of Peking roast duck. But do you know the history of Peking roast duck, or what are some differences of the different styles of Peking roast duck in different restaurants? And here you can see it's a famous food house, Tranditions. Here is the famous food house, Tranditions. I think once you come and visit Beijing, you might have a try the Peking roast duck in Tranditions, and because not only because it's century-old restaurant in China and in Beijing, it also serves quite authentic and a traditional way of making the roast duck. But it has its characteristics, like it roasts their ducks with open fire. So you might be curious about what is open fire. And later on, probably I will show you a video which can probably help to answer this question. And also glistening brown roast duck. Not because it's color, while after the roasting, it turned into golden brown. And it's meat sliced, dipped into sweet noodle sauce with a choice of some scallion threads, rolled into some soft, thin dough wrap. So while we're having the roast duck, even little kid knows how to make the roll of the Peking roast duck, like what we've been written here. Like you need to dip into sweet noodle sauce. It's kind of special sauce that we use to make the roll and give us some sort of sweetness, and it is quite different. You will never forget about it. And also with the choice of some scallion thread. Scallion thread can help you to reduce your feelings, your taste of the the greasiness. And because when you have the Peking roast duck, you might think, wow, it's too much oil, it's greasy. But if you have the scallion threads, it will just simply reduce your responses to it. All right, now let's take a look at a video that somebody has already tried the Peking roast duck for you. Okay, please hold on a second. Let me try to see where is it. Peking roast duck. How the Chinese. Where is it? Actually, I've already uploaded over 18 kind of the videos here. Let me check it out. Yeah, ultimate. I think it might be Ultimate Chinese Food Tour. Might be this one. Okay. This is a program from a CGTN, China Global Television Network. I think it might give you different understandings about how to roll it, how to eat it, what are the tastes, and what are the differences between two different Peking roast duck restaurants. One is 便宜坊, another is 全聚德. Okay, they're all very popular in Beijing. Okay, let's have a try.
Okay, stinky tofu. I think I'm not gonna do that. No stinky tofu.
Oh, okay. It is stinky tofu?
You hosted.
Maybe this is the wrong one. Okay, wait a moment. Yeah, it must be this one. Yeah.
Walking through the streets of Beijing, you're immersed in the sights and smells of local cuisine. But one dish is so embedded in the city's DNA that it even bears its name.
我要北京烤鸭。
Yes, Peking duck. As early as the Yuan dynasty, this mouth-watering specialty has been a local favorite. And no trip to the capital is complete without a taste.
This is what I've been waiting for. Flour.
Yeah, please take a look at the way he's making the authentic Peking roast duck roll. And here is the pancake.
Our pancake here. This is the Peking duck that was freshly cut. Gonna dip it into this sweet and savory sauce we have. Next up, cucumbers.
Yeah, although I did not mention the cucumbers, but cucumbers is very important, while we're having Peking roast duck. Some people also have something like the lettuce or some other things like slides put into it.
And then we have scallions here.
Scallion.
Bon appetit. Oh, so good. You can taste the meat. It's kind of crunchy on the outside. And then the sauce is sweet, mixes with the cucumbers. It's like a birthday present for your mouth.
The duck I'm eating now was cooked by Bian Yifeng. The 600-year-old restaurant uses a closed oven technique.
So that is closed oven technique, like we mentioned before. The closed, maybe the doors closed, the oven's doors closed. So because
doesn't utilize an open
That
flame.
goes-
The method is cherished enough to have a spot on China's intangible cultural heritage list. Bai Yongbing is the inheritor of the cooking style and has been practicing his craft for 40 years.
So I just tried the Peking duck upstairs, and now I kind of wanted to see the background about how it's made.
这个烤鸭子虽然好吃，但是它制作起来非常复杂。首先，它要用北京甜鸭。
Yeah, Beijing Tianyang, the Peking, like you've saying the word just now.
非常复杂。首先，
Yeah, first we would use Beijing local stuffed ducks. Stuffed ducks, 甜鸭. Okay, so when you try to make the authentic Peking roast duck, you do have to try to choose the authentic the ingredients in the first place, like the stuffed ducks.
它要用北京甜鸭，而且要日龄在39天到41天。这个
Also, it should be the duck with 39 to 41 days old,
分量在6斤到6斤2两。
and also the
在烤
weight.
制之前呢，这鸭子还要堵塞儿、灌汤。
Okay.
Ducks are filled with a special soup and hung inside the oven, where the heat radiating from the inner walls produces a tender result.
对，来，no。 是吧？
While Bian Yifeng sticks to its tradition of closed oven roasting,
Please remember, closed oven roasted. That's 变异法. Okay.
just down the street, Chuanjuda does things a little differently. Chuanjuda traces its history back to 1864 during the Qing dynasty. The restaurant specializes in an open oven roasting style, where ducks are hung over a flame fueled by wood from fruit trees, giving it a slightly crispy skin without sacrificing taste. Their unique style has also secured a spot on China's intangible cultural heritage list.
Inside the kitchen, the way they cook the duck here is very different from being Yifeng. It's cooked in an open oven. There's actually wood inside of it, which gives it a slightly smoky taste when you try it, and the skin is slightly crispy. But the same amazing taste.
So when we have the Peking roast duck, the chef will slice different sections of the roast duck into different places, like this little sauces, and the chef might place the best part of maybe the fatty skins, roasted fatty skins onto the plate, and you just simply need to dip it into the sugar, and then have it together with the sugar, and it will suddenly melt into your mouth. You don't have to use that pancake. Just simply chew it. It's so good. You do have to try.
I've tried two unique styles of Peking duck, both using time-honored traditions to produce tasty results. So whether you choose Bian Yi Fang or Jingjie the next time you have a Peking duck craving, you're almost certain to have a meal worth remembering.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, so trust me, next time when you visit Beijing, you do have to try these two restaurants, and it definitely will leave you deep impression. Right. And also in Beijing, and particularly in the winter times, as was extreme cold outside, and so people would like to choose the lamb hot pot. In Chinese, sometimes we call it 老北京火锅. That's Chinese, and means Beijing hot pot. So it used to be a winter dish. Like during the winter, we have to bring more energy, So, but it's now available anytime, as most restaurants have air conditioning equipped, even in the thin summer heat. Many people prefer it. But I still definitely would like to choose to have the Beijing or the lamb hot pot while it was winter or while it was raining days. Okay. Maybe next time, if you would like to, and probably I will show you the Peking hot pot, because I've searched through the internet for maybe over 20 or 25 videos, but none of them was satisfying. So I'll just simply tell you that this is the typical settings of the Beijing or the lamb hot pot. This is the kind of bronze light pot. It is different from Sichuan pot because in Beijing, and people prefer to have to try the original flavor of the lamb, or the original flavor of the lamb. So inside here, the soup, mostly the soup was probably clear soup with a little bit of jujube or dates or scallion inside or ginger to help to maybe reduce some other smells. But yeah, we simply use clear soup to boil the lamb slices. And this is the lamb slices. It is quite different from the slices that you used to have at some hot pot restaurant like Haidi Lao. Whether you have that hot pot restaurant in your country or not, I don't know. But this is quite different lamb slices, because the chefs, they will use their hand to hold the meat firmly and use their Chinese knife to slide it. And after you place those lamb slices onto the plate, when you move the plate vertically, and all of those lamb slices will not fall onto the ground. It will stick onto the plate firmly. So next time, if you try the Beijing hot pot, you will have a try to test whether it's authentic Beijing hot pot. If it's not authentic, those lamb slices will drop. Okay. Let's keep moving on to some other places like Shandong. Shandong can be considered as the top among the 8 Chinese cuisines, also including Beijing. The Beijing cuisine has already been affected by the Shandong or the Lu style cuisines. So most people believe that Shandong cuisine is the first of the 8 cuisines in China. It has great influence on the development of cooking technology in Beijing, Tianjin, and along North China and northeastern China, because Shandong located to probably the northeastern side of the China's mainland. It's close to the coast. So here is the typical Shandong cuisine. I don't know whether you've tried it before or not, but hold on a second. But it is mainly salty and fresh. We call it sweet and sour yellow cup. Sweet and sour yellow cup is a typical Shandong cuisine. it is mainly salty and fresh, highlighting an original taste. It's good at using onions, ginger, and garlic. Maybe you might have some questions like, are all the Yellow River carp will be made like this? But definitely, I'm quite sure that in Shandong province, you will have those Yellow River carp made like that. It's kind of probably typical Shandong techniques. And here is some like you see, sweet and sour Yellow River carp is the traditional famous dish in Jinan and Shandong province. So because it faces Yellow River in the north, so the carp used for cooking is the Yellow River carp. And let me show you a master who's making this, the Yellow River carp. Might be this one.
老厨师做山东菜，老手艺传。
This is kind of Chinese version, but probably I will explain a little bit to you about this chef. Yeah.
关键的地方什么呀？是这个一定要大透，一定让它偏酥脆一点。
Let's put it.
这个麦穗花刀一定要45度下刀，
斜刀。
斜刀。
After we thoroughly wash the Yellow River carp, and here is the knife skill. You have to be aware that this master already told you that we have used the 45-degree the angle and to make the carp. Yeah, so your knife has to reach the bone, has to reach the spine there. Do not cut it off. And you will keep moving it into the meat. Okay. Yeah. This is the knife skill. Yeah. Okay.
这一桌也不是这一个菜啊，对。
So this is the work after we sliced both sides of the carp. It is beautiful, right? And also, this must also mention that here's the teeth of the carp. You simply have to remove it. Yeah, otherwise the fish will taste more like earthy. Okay. And this is the how to prepare for the carp. You have to make it dry and splash some flour on top of the carp before you deep fry it. And he said that the traditional way is to splash some salt on top of the fish. But because they just preserve it within the salt water, so we don't have to. Yeah. And he's also making some sliced dishes, deep fried sliced dishes. Yeah. Yeah, I see.
啊，
都学过吧啊？
嗯，
可以现在看到都匀了吧？可以下锅了。
这就下锅吗？
你现在不下锅，火都退了。
好好好，下了。
那开始下锅。
嗯。
下锅的时候要从冲一冲啊。
啊。
冲的目的你上啥刀口都张开。现在很多的年轻人直接掐到头一拽里头了，刀口张不开啊。哎，不能图省事儿。
Yeah, he said we still have to hold the tail of the fish firmly and to deep fry it again and again, and just not simply put it into the wok. You know, it's not that easy.
这时候呢，鱼可以下锅了哈。下锅的时候呢。
And here's the key, and he's making the shape, just like what we've seen it. Yeah.
定型。
哎，一定要定型哈，定好型。定好型以后呢，把这鱼水这地方挑一下。
把鱼鳃也张开，酱油就可以。
And this is how the sauce was being made, and maybe in overseas, in some other countries, and you might have experiences of having a sweet and sour dish. Okay, so for the sweet and sour dish, and you really have to know how to make the sweet and sour sauce. This is how the master is making the sweet and sour sauce. All right.
这个醋呢，你冲出醋香来。
And we have to use the Chinese vinegar, and to defry the vinegar with the water. When you smell and feel the vinegar, yeah, then it's done. When you see the bubbles, it's done. And you have to put some water into it. Yeah, we can feel the aroma of the vinegar. Yeah. You also need to pour some sugar in it. This is the sugar. So we mix the sugar and the Chinese vinegar together and to make the sauce. And this probably be the soybean sauce.
酱油就可以。
Or the soy sauce. We call it soy sauce. So soy sauce, the sugar, and the vinegar. All right.
再来一点。
And some more. So probably this is the already made the sweet and sour sauce. Okay, and the fish is ready as well. Okay, this is the yellow cup, deep fried. So you have to pour those gravies, the sweet and sour gravies on top. The famous Shandong cuisine. Okay.
哎呀，很好。
It's beautiful, isn't it? Okay, so let's keep moving on. I think you might feel interested after the lecture, or maybe after our discussions, and you will try to buy a cup and make the same kind of Chinese Shandong style, you know, the sweet and sour yellow river cup. Okay. Now let's keep moving on to the place we call Sichuan. I think you know what it is. It's a panda. It's a place where we can also discover many Sichuan dish, or sometimes we say Chuan style dish here. We Chinese also call Sichuan the heavenly state. Means that the place full of abundant supplies, vegetables and grains and food. Its climate is also quite good. And Sichuan possesses great influence over all regions of China. When people think of Sichuan food, the only thing that comes to mind is the pungent and hot flavor. if you really love the hot food, like some chili things, you do have to visit Sichuan. And so we call it the Chuan style. And actually, Sichuan food pays great attention to flavor and the seasoning. I think like when we have the barbecues in China, in northern part of China, at the place where I live, we emphasize on the original flavor of the food. Like the lamb, we would love to have the original, roasted lamb, or we do not have it seasoned. But in Sichuan, and people would like to pay their attention to flavor and seasoning. And this is not Sichuan hot pot. We call this the Sichuan, maybe we call it Chuan Chuan in Sichuan province. Okay, so firstly we boil it. You put all of those veggies, the meats into different sticks, and you have a quick boil it, and pour it into some chili sauces. It's like a daily snacks to some of the Sichuan people. And yeah, so you can also see as long as attentive efforts are made, Sichuan food can have as many as 7 flavors. So if you really want to try those 7 flavors, you do have to visit Sichuan, and which are sour, sweet, bitter, pungent, mouth-numbing, fragrant, and salty. I used to be at Sichuan, at a place for about 7 days. The only memories that left into my mind was the mouth numbing, And also the Sichuan style, the Sichuan hot pot. If you visit Sichuan, you do have to try the Sichuan hot pot. And this is a typical Sichuan or Chongqing style. We call it 9宫格. 9宫格. I think it's different from the hot pot in Beijing, because in Beijing, people would like to have the lamb hot pot with its plain flavor. But in Sichuan, and people seriously are crazy about the chili or the chili sauces. So they invent this pot, but why they separate the pot into 9 different sections? Yeah, here is the question. Let's take a look at a video I prepared for you, and check out the answer. Why it is 9? Yeah, here is it. It's very short. This is the Chongqing hot pot with 9 different sections, and some people explain that because the heat in the middle of the pot is quite strong. So probably if you like to have something like instant boil, you can use the section in the middle. But if you want to just simply boil it for a very long time, you can use some other sections around it.
利用9宫格，看似随意分割，实则有着自己的玄机。火候旺盛，中间汤浓，四周油重，于是中间为涮，四周为煮。
9宫格哈，其实重庆火锅它是起源于一个码头文化。当时的9宫格是个啥意思啊？就是你不认识我，我不认识你，然后我们在桌子上面坐成一桌人，然后啷个能区分你的菜和我的菜呢？然后我们都用9宫格把它划分开。
So that gentleman is he's using the local dialect and to talk, and probably will be a little bit difficult for you to understand, but I'll try to explain a little bit. And he just simply explained this, why the Sichuan or Chongqing people would love to have the hot pot into the 9 different little blocks. So you see that Chongqing is also located along the Yangtze River, and there are many decks there. So some deck workers, after probably the heavy work, they love to sit around the table and have the hot pot. So they separate or divide a hot pot into 9 different blocks or sections, because they don't know each other. You don't know me, I don't know you. For instance, if 100 of us sitting together, we don't know each other, right?
我们在桌子上面坐成一桌人，
we still have to sit around the table and have the meals together.
然后啷个能区分你的菜和我的菜呢？
So how do we distinguish which is your dish, which is mine?
然后我们都用9宫格把它划分开。
Then the local people just divide them into 9 different sections, and you can choose the meal from your part. That's the 9 blocks. Okay. All right. Let's keep moving on to yeah. Oh, just a second. Yeah, this is the Sichuan hot pot, you know. And let's keep moving on to the Hunan Xiang style. So Hunan cuisine, with a history of more than 2,000 years, is well known for its preference for chili pepper. So here is the stinking tofu and the steamed fish head. And the stinking tofu, it smells bad, but tastes good. You know, stinking tofu has also become very popular in the Chinese society. For instance, if I walk outside of my apartment, I can easily find one stinking tofu street stand, which is also very tasty. Well, let me show you the stinking tofu here.
TV show about food.
You're the same gentleman.
You gotta eat some stuff you might not want to. So, all right. When it comes to Hunan cuisine, the Fiery Palace has built a strong reputation. Jingjie Palace was a small
It's just, oh, what happened? Okay, this is stinking tofu.
One day, the landlady, who thought it was a huge waste to throw away moldy tofu, decided to secretly keep some of it and fry it in tea oil. To her surprise, it produced an unusual smell. After getting a whiff of this aroma, many people inquired about it. After much refinement, she finally made a version of stinky tofu that won the hearts of people near and far. Oh man.
It smells really bad. I can tell you the truth. It smells really bad. But if you try it, it tastes quite, you know, quite good.
The Jiang family has passed down the brine recipe for Fiery Palace stinky tofu from generation to generation. The brine ferments for 1.5 years before use and can be reused over and over again.
这个卤水发酵时间1454天，有3-4年了。
So that place has been over 3 or 4 years. You know, the tofu has been preserved.
上面有一层这样泡泡，
Yeah.
用柜子搅一下之后，看起来就全是水了，里面泡泡了。
Every time you stir it, more and more of the smell just jumps out at you. To make sure it's stinky enough, a certain amount of aged brine is needed. After soaking for 6 hours, the tofu turns black and gains that trademark smell. The closer you get to it, the stronger the scent is. Oh man. Ah. Eh. Oh.
你像我刚开始接触臭豆腐这个行业的时候，那时也是很不习惯，因为闻到这个卤水有股很大的臭味啊。后面的话就是说，为了把我们火锅店这个臭豆腐这个技术发扬光大，后面再苦再累再臭也要坚持。这个洗的话就是把那些杂质把它清洗干净，把那个卤水能把它洗掉。
OK，
可以了。
Making brine takes skill,
I think
but so does frying tofu. Learning to precisely control the cooking fire takes time. If the oil's temperature is too high, the stinky tofu will be bitter.
She was only on Friday,
if it's
but
too low, it will harden.
this is my understanding. I'm not sure.
Every step
because
of
she
making
was on
stinky tofu has a
last
important
Saturday.
testing
She
time.
attended.
我们这个臭豆腐没有经过油炸之前，闻起来是臭的；经过高温油炸之后，那臭味就没有了，香味就出来了。
Yeah, this dish is very popular among many Chinese, particularly many Chinese youngsters. They do love it. It's like a local snack everywhere in China now. Yeah. So if you come to China, no matter which city you're in, you will have a chance of, encountering those stinking tofu. All right. Let's keep moving on to some other like steamed fish head is also very popular, and it's a little bit spicy, there, but we will not talk about it tonight. And also Jiangsu style for the Jiangsu cuisine is characterized by stirring, braising, steaming. I think here is the very interesting Jiangsu cuisine. We call it Jinling, maybe the Jinling duck or Jinling salted duck. Normally, we consider as some sort of cold dish. Yeah, I think I got the other one, but yeah. Oh wow, this one. Have you ever tried deep fried, maybe the fried rice in your country? I'm thinking maybe in many Chinese restaurants, it's kind of maybe the must choose dish when you visit there. But in China, the most famous and popular fried rice is Yangzhou fried rice. So if you visit Jiangsu province, and probably the better visit Yangzhou and try it. It's different because the dish includes numerous materials like eggs, ham, carrot, scallop, grain, bean, and so on. And because in our home, maybe our homemade fried rice could only be the fried rice with the scrambled egg, but not like this. This is abundant ingredients here. So if you visit Zhejiang, and Zhejiang cuisine specializes in quick frying, stir frying, deep frying, simmering, and steaming. And so the Westlake braised fish in vinegar has already been a famous dish in Zhejiang province. And in Chinese, we call it 西湖醋鱼. It looks simple, but it's not that simple. Okay, so and also in Zhejiang, people would like to have the shell shrimps cooked in longjing tea. In China, actually, at some restaurants, people started to learn the Zhejiang style by mixing or blending the tea leaves together with some other meats, shrimps. So the shelled shrimps cooked in longjing tea has already been quite famous in Zhejiang cuisine. It is recognized as the best tea, because the longjing tea is recognized the best in Hangzhou for its grain color, fragrance, pure taste, and elegant appearance. Actually, the longjing or the dragon well tea is quite expensive, and comparing some other grain tea, and you could only find the dragon well tea in Zhejiang. In some other part of China, you cannot find the similar taste or similar kind of green tea there. So in Anhui, Anhui is also a beautiful place. It has some place of interest like Huangshan or Yellow Huang, and it has an emphasis on preserving the natural and original flavor of the food. Is because in that province, people love to preserve the meals. So the chefs pay more attention to the taste, color, and dishes. I think the most famous one will be the Anhui mandarin fish, which is marinated and braised. We call it the stinky fish, like the stinking tofu. Okay, so you might wonder that why Chinese love the stinking things, but actually they were not stinking at all. I used to try the stinking fish for many times. The meat definitely tastes great with tender. So this is the very unique taste that when you have the stinking fish, its meat is tender. Yeah. And also the fish meat can separate from the fish bones easily. In Guangdong, I think you might be interested or familiar with the Guangdong or Cantonese cuisine because the people in Canton, they probably would be the earliest Chinese visited overseas or have the trade and businesses with some other countries. And also, you might be familiar with the Dancing. Dancing is a clever name. It includes a variety of desserts and snacks and wheaten food. So based on the local food, Canton dim sum gather advantages of both Chinese flour dim sum and the Western style. All right. And because our time is quite limited, so I do have to make it a little bit quick. In Fujian, we call it Ming style. Fujian cuisine emphasis on some dishes. You see, is that the dishes are served in soup. The cooking method are stewing, boiling, braising, cooking, boiling, and steaming. But in China, sometimes we might feel that if you really love to have some healthy Chinese food, you do have to visit Fujian, because in that provinces, people would love to use the simple cooking ways like boiling or steaming to make the food. They love the fresh food, the fresh vegetables, the meat, particularly they love the seafood. And this is the spring roll. Maybe in your country or in your places, you used to have the Chinese spring roll before, but they were deep fried spring rolls. But in Fujian, just like what I said, that the Fujian people, they stress their emphasis on the healthy food. So sometimes they do not deep fry the spring roll. They simply wrap it. We call it the spring roll wrap. They wrap it with some stuffings like mushroom, chive, egg, bean sprouts, or some other stuffing materials. And also, if you like to, you can fry them. Okay, so it all depends on your taste. And also, let's take a look at the foods and the festivals. We probably will have a quick look. I think you might be familiar with the Chinese New Year or the Spring Festival. But have you ever heard of the Laba Festival? It's a day of blessing for the Chinese New Year. And you do have to remember the time that when it is once more near the end of the year, on the 8th day of the 12th lunar month. Okay, so please remember on the 8th day of the 12th lunar month. So people all around China have the tradition of eating laba congee with the slight variations in making. So what is this festival? In this festival, the festival has its name because the 12th month is also called La month in the Chinese. Like probably in English, we'll call the 12th month December, or in Chinese, 12月. But in traditional Chinese, we name 12月 or the last month in the Chinese calendar 腊月. Okay, so in 腊月, we will have the laba porridge. And because of the date was the 8th day of the last month, so the 8th will be called Ba. So that's why we call it laba porridge. And also the festival implies saying goodbye to the old and embracing the new, and often regarded as a warm-up celebration for the upcoming Spring Festival. In Chinese, we always like to say 过了腊八就是年, which means that if you after the celebration of the Laba Festival, we are heading towards the Chinese New Year. So this is a very significant day for many Chinese here. I don't know if we still have time to check out the laba porridge. Okay, let's take a look at this is laba porridge.
过了腊八就是年，每年农历12月初8都是我们中国，尤其是北方的传统节日。我国喝腊八粥的历史已经有1000多年了。无论是朝廷官员还是寻常百姓家，腊八节都少不了喝腊八粥。一碗碗热气腾腾的腊八粥，寄托着人们心中年的味道。今天我们来到了护国寺小吃总。
This is in Beijing. If you visit Beijing one day, you can try it.
一起来看看一碗腊八粥是怎么样制成的吧。
主料就是有花生米、红芸豆、莲子、江米、瓜子仁、红小豆、玉米渣、紫米，这个白芸豆，还有大麦米，这些是主料。煮有20分钟或者半小时以后下这个辅料。而辅料有9种，这是葡萄干、西瓜仁、核桃仁、枸杞、栗子、百合。这个红薯干、紫薯干，还有红枣，用小火慢熬得照着3个小时吧，3小时就是熬到粘稠就可以了。
最后的口感呈现出来。
So it has to be stewed for over 3 hours.
还会是一个比较偏甜的口味。
这微甜，稍微有一点甜。
Slight sweet.
吃腊八粥，
腊八蒜，
腊八蒜。
你们说今年都忘了腊八节了？
是吗？
我们那边泡腊八蒜，喝腊八粥。
So I think those people, they mentioned one thing called laba suan, the laba garlic. And every year, and some of the households would like to preserve the garlic into the Chinese vinegar so that it can produce a very special garlic. The garlic will turn into green, so we call it laba suan. You do have to make the laba suan on that special day.
这个
This is a
腊
laba
八蒜，这都是腊八时候必须吃的。就显咱们那种紫皮蒜，手工一点，包完了别照水泡，直接就是用这个米醋把它搁一密封的瓶里，泡得有个4、5天吧就可以了。
自己做，
自己做，
自己做。
咱都拿什么东西做？
就各种坚果，各种米豆。对。
Yeah, so we Chinese love the Laba festival and Laba porridge. And my family also care about the Laba Suan. So at the end of this year, I'll have to prepare for the Laba garlic for the family. Okay, let's move on a little faster. Yeah, so this is the Laba festival, the Laba garlic, and also dumplings and then Chinese New Year. So for dumplings here, I think you might be quite familiar with the history of the Chinese dumpling, or our likeness, or our probably love about the dumplings. But you do have to remember that the history of the dumplings. As for the history of dumpling, the earliest record history associated with the dumplings is found from Han Dynasty, and this is not the fabricate. This is the real stuff. This is can be seen at a museum. What is it? It's a bowl which was excavated from Tang Dynasty. You see, thousands of years ago, that the holy preserved dumplings, was excavated. So this is the proof that thousands of years ago, Chinese would love to have the dumpling. Yeah, this is the proof. Maybe one day, if you visit a museum in China, you will have an opportunity to take a look at this kind of this kind of proof. Let's keep moving on for dumplings. And so, since the Ming Dynasty, the folk custom for eating dumplings on the Chinese New Year was already very popular. Especially in the north, wrapping and having dumplings in the Spring Festival is indispensable feast activity for every family. So not only in the Spring Festival, in northern part of China, some of the families, they do love have dumplings. We even have dumplings at every important seasoning festivals. Okay, so dumplings are very useful, and I think it's a very useful way to communicate with the local Chinese. If you really want to have deep interactions with local people, you do have to learn how to make the dumpling. Okay, and also the Lantern Festival. So the festival atmosphere of Chinese New Year will last for half month until the 15th day of the first lunar month, when it is the Lantern Festival. It's another important holiday of the Chinese. Here we have two different kinds of food on this day. In northern part of China, people have yuanxiao, and but in southern part of China, people love to have tangyuan. They are totally different food, but have the same meaning. You know, implying the implying that the whole family was together, right? So I'd like to show you a brief video about the differences between the yuanxiao and tangyuan. Okay, if we have the video here, let's see. I don't know whether I've uploaded into the system not. Autumn festival. Is it mooncake? I think I failed to upload it into the system. What is Chinese? No, not here. Yeah, but I'd like to tell you that the difference between yuanxiao, and people firstly make the fillings and then they roll the yuanxiao into a basket again and again, so that the flour will stick onto the yuanxiao, so that the yuanxiao have been made into the a ball-like shape. But in southern China, and people will fold the fillings into the pancake and fold them firmly and make it into a ball. That's probably will be the biggest difference between the yuanxiao and tangyuan. And to me personally, although I'm the northerner, I still have tangyuan, because tangyuan tastes slightly sweet, but yuanxiao is too sweet. Yeah, that's my preference. And also Mooncake Festival, we know it's Mid-Autumn Day, and we just celebrated a couple of days ago. It's a time for the family get together, and the Chinese people pay so much attention to this festival. And on that day, when the bright round moon is hanging above and all the homes are united, people enjoy mooncakes while observing the moon and enjoying their life. So besides the Spring Festival, the Mid-Autumn Festival has also been a very important festival in China. Yeah, this is second important festivals. For the mooncake, it's a very popular cake that we usually have on the day. It has different fillings like lotus seed paste, egg yolk, and so from here you can see this is the egg yolk mooncake, and this is probably the what's that? The red bean paste mooncake. So for the mooncake, it might have dozens of different tastes and fillings. And the last, but not the least, let me show you the Chinese, the table manners or the etiquette of dining. And firstly, you have to know, or you have to keep in mind, the order of the seating. So here's the picture. I don't know whether you can understand the Chinese here or not, but maybe, hopefully, you can understand it. Here is the door, and here's the door that the host and the guests have to sit towards the door. Yeah, Angela, thank you. Angela's already pointed out this is the door, right? So the highly respected and the elderly, the host or the hostess or the host's most treasured guests sit on the north side of the table. So this is the north side of the table. So which means that this person is very important. It's the host or the hostess. And the important guest has to be seated here, right? Okay. And for the eating etiquette in China, ancient China, each person had his or her own table with his or her own food. So maybe some people might think that, oh wow, you Chinese would like to have the meals together. You share the same plate of the meals, but actually in ancient China, Chinese people separate our meals. But that's just maybe before, I think before Yuan dynasty. But you see the individual dining habit has been changed since the Yuan dynasty. We have quite a lot of dynasties, and so in different dynasties, people's behavior, habits has always been changing. So the essence of Chinese dining etiquette is still kept today. So eating etiquette, here are many. So you have to take in food with your chopsticks. You can't use your bare hand to pick up a food from the plate. Okay, unless some people might say, okay, well, just use your hand. Otherwise, please use the chopsticks, because we can't use the chopsticks always, right? And also, don't make such much noise when eating or drinking soup. Like when you have the soup, you have to keep your voice, maybe keep your maybe just try to keep the noise a little bit lower, right? We can't just zip our mouth, or we can't buzz, right? And also, don't talk when there's food on the mouth. So, which means that when you're chewing your food, just simply do not talk. Otherwise, those food or food pieces might be shot into others' plate or be embarrassed. And also, don't point someone with the chopsticks or play with the chopsticks. It's very impolite when you use the chopsticks and pointing others and talk with them like this. Okay, don't do that. And also, you need to pick the teeth with a toothpick. But sometimes, even when the ladies trying to pick the teeth after the meal, they will try to cover their mouth and use the toothpaste to do that. Okay, so, and also don't insert chopsticks into the bowl with rice. So if you have a bowl of rice, and please do not insert the chopsticks into the bowl. It's like, it indicates the worship ancestors, right? So please bear in mind of that. All right, and for the drinking etiquette, Chinese people love having the drinkings, and maybe drinking is also popular along the globe. But in China, Chinese people have the drinking maybe traditions for 1,000 years. We even excavate some of the drinking vessels from the tomb, and we discover that some grain liquid has already been preserved there for 1,000 years. However, we still have the etiquette. Like when you propose a toast, it's polite for you to stand up and hold the glass with your two hands, rather than say, okay, I like to make a toast, but you have to use both hands to show your politeness and respect. I like to make a toast, right? And if you want to offer a toast to the people in attendance one by one, make sure you know the order according to the age and status. Sometimes I always can be easily forgot the sequences, particularly when there were over 10 people sitting around the table. It can be easily, forgot the sequences, But it's so embarrassed, because if you jump over the other guy, it might show your disrespect to the other person. So please bear in mind when you have meals together with Chinese people, when you're trying to make a toast, one after another, please bear in mind with the sequences. All right. Yeah. And also, when you have a toast with others, please remember, if somebody who's older than you, or have, or maybe their social positions are much higher than you, or your boss, you do have to remember, for instance, this is your cup. Please lower your cup a little bit and to make a toast. Do not make it higher than your superior. That would be impolite. So that, like the picture we've seen here, right? So please remember that. Yeah, that's basically some of my sharings about the Chinese food. I'd like to finish today's lecture with the Confucius words. Is it not delightful to have friends coming from distant quarters? 有朋自远方来，不亦乐乎. And welcome to China, and welcome to Beijing, and welcome to try our Chinese food. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for Mr. Du's wonderful speech tonight. So, 有朋自远方来，不亦乐乎. So, welcome you to come here into Beijing to our university to try different types of Chinese food. Okay, so actually I had my dinner tonight, but I feel hungry again right now after Mr. Du's wonderful speech. And thank you again for the speech. So we still have a few minutes. So if you have any questions about the topic tonight, you can leave a message in the chatting box. If you have anything you want to ask Mr. Du.
Or you can simply talk if you like to.
Yeah, if you're on the stage, you can just start your microphone and
I think I'm saying
asking.
Okay.
Yep. Any
questions? Yeah.
Any questions?
about Chinese culture or the food, you know? Yeah, I like to hear some of your questions.
No? No question?
You know what? I have I just had the roast duck, but it's Cantonese style from the cafeteria of my university, and it was quite popular, and I think the students love it, particularly the students from southern part of China. Because from my introduction, you can understand that in northern part of China, people would love to have some more salty food, and in southern China, people love sweet or some light food. So at the university, some students coming from the south, they would still love to choose some maybe some food which doesn't taste that strong. Yeah. I love the roast duck, Cantonese roast duck.
Okay. There is a question from the web page. Is it important to offer a toast, or better wait for them to do it?
Oh, this is the quite good question. And sometimes when I have meals with many Chinese, yeah, I can see someone's waving their hand. All right. So you do have to watch. You do have to watch carefully. You do have to watch carefully what others might do on the table. Or before you start the meal, you have to ask your friends or some people at your side that about different people's situations. Who are they? Where from? Are they older than you? Or you have to make lots of works before you attend a meal. So that's why I really don't want to attend some of the Chinese meals, because it's complicated. You know, you have to face different people. You have to know them before you attend a meal, so that you can find a better chance to make a toast. Yeah.
Okay. So, in addition to the question from the same student, is it impolite to not end the drink?
Not to drink? Is it implied not to drink?
Not to end the drink in the cup of the alcohol. I think he means.
Okay. I think it depends on different situations. You know, while you're having a chance liquor together with the other guy, and in their heart, it depends on how big the size of your utensils. For instance, if you have a glass, it's a full cup. You know, in China, we might have how big? Maybe half size of this. If it's this half size, the big glass or the cup of Chinese alcohol, and normally we will separate them into 3 times. In the city where I live, you have to drink them all within 3 times. So it's a huge challenge, you know. But traditionally we have some little cup. The cup is like my thumb size, you know. So, but for that cup, you have to drink it thoroughly. Do not left over some Chinese liquor on the bottom, right? So no wonder Chinese might say bottom up or naked, which means you have to drink them all. Okay, do not leave the alcohol on the bottom of your cup. And also, you also need to watch carefully about what others do, because in China, drinking is not merely a behavior to drink. It's kind of interaction. You have to talk with others. You have to bargain. You have to argue with others. Who will drink first? Who will finish this cup? So that's and very interesting, interaction. I think you will learn when you try more. Okay.
Okay, so we don't have enough time, but we can answer one last question. There is a student from Italy. Yeah, you can see here. We don't mix so many different food in one dish: fish, beef, chicken, duck. So, is there a reason why it is common here in Chinese food?
You mean the food has been mixed? I think the reason why you've seen some food, particularly stir-fry food, being mixed, that may be because it's Chinese would love to make the dish more colorful, beautiful, and full of flavor. So that's why we would like to mix the dishes, some different ingredients together. For instance, the basic Chinese family dish. In Chinese family dish, for instance, my son and his favorite dish is stir-fried tomato with scrambled egg. Because he could have the taste both from the scrambled egg, the greasiness of the egg, and also the sourness and sweetness from tomato. So Chinese would love to emphasis on flavor, color, and different size. For instance, if we make some Chinese dish, we like to make the diced dish. For instance, if I cook the stir-fried chicken dices with mushrooms, I have to slice or I have to slice the mushroom into diced and the same thing is that the chicken meat also need to be cut diced like. If I slice the ingredients into shreds, some other ingredients must also be shredded like. So we have different requirements on different dishes, but we love to mix the dish together because we love different flavors. But in China, we also have some other dishes not mixing together. For instance, the steamed fish in Guangdong and Canton or Fujian. So, like what I said, alongside of the southeastern part of China, people love to have some plain meals like steamed fish, steamed seafood, rather than mix them together. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks for all your introductions, and thanks for all of the students for coming tonight. And we don't have time right now, so Kelly asked me to let's take a picture together for all of the students and with our teachers. So if you have camera, please turn on your camera if you're in the classroom room, so we can take a picture together. So everybody, can you turn on your camera right now?
It's a challenge.
Okay.
It's a challenge. All my students, when we have the online courses, many of my students, they refuse to turn on their cameras.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you all. Please turn on your camera, please, everyone. Thank you. Please turn on your camera so we can take a picture together. Yep. So
if you love to.
you're,
If you
yeah,
like
if
to.
you're in, yep. If you are using Classian for the class right now, so everybody, please turn on your video. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
And
Thank you.
I sincerely welcome you all to visit China one day. If you're here, you can also ask me to be your tour guide if I were at a side. I love to.
Yep. To eat Peking duck together.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, if you would like to know something about China, you can also contact me through the lady.
All right, everybody, are you ready? Please turn on your camera right now so we can take the picture together. Hello. So if your camera is off, then that looks not very beautiful for the picture. So if you can, just turn on your camera and give us a beautiful smile to the camera.
Yeah.
And yep, thank you.
Thank you.
And please turn on your camera. So let's count some numbers. I will say 3, 2, 1. Do you still remember how to say that in Chinese? So I will say
Do they know
三
how to
二
say?
一.
Okay.
So 3, 2, 1. And I will say, in English, you will say cheese when you're taking a picture together. But in Chinese, we will say 茄子, which is a food.
Eggplant.
Eggplant. So we will say 茄子 together when we take the photo. And the sound is like cheese and giving a smile. So let's try together. Turn on your camera, and I will say 3, 2, 1 and 茄子. Then you smile, and we take the picture together. Okay?
Okay.
So let's try together. Let's start your camera, and let's do it together. 3, 2, 1茄子.
茄子.
All right, one more time.
Frozen.
One more time. Okay. So you can say it together. So
okay.
3, 2, 1茄子.
茄子.
All right. So Kelly, is that okay for taking the picture? Do we need something more? Okay, so
because our time is limited. I don't know whether you all can understand what I'm talking about tonight. Okay, but yeah.
Okay, so
Kelly
said okay.
Thank you.
So
thank you, everyone.
Thank you for coming tonight, and thank you again for Mr. Du's wonderful lecture tonight, and thanks for sharing so
Thank
many
you, everyone, for your
very
patience.
good food. All right, and we are going to have another lecture in next month, and we will share the information later. So also here is our contact information on the screen. So if you have, yep, here we go. So this is our contact information. So you can scan the QR code at us on WeChat, or if you you can follow us from the social media. We will share some more information about Chinese learning and Chinese culture. So thanks for coming tonight, and bye, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good day or have a good night.
Yep.
再见。
Bye-bye.
哎，杜老师，谢谢，这么晚了。
好嘞啊，不客气，不客气，不客气。
好嘞，好嘞，
没事，
您休息吧。
好嘞，好嘞，好嘞，好嘞，谢谢，谢谢，感谢，谢谢。
杜老师，谢谢。
你好，谢谢，谢谢，凯文，谢谢，谢谢。讲的不好，讲的
辛苦了，辛苦了，没有素材特别丰富。
哦，太多了，就是没有，就是都能讲完啊，太多了，只能就是很快的跳过啊。
好，那辛苦您了，
好，
早点休息。
辛苦了，您早点休息吧。
好嘞，好嘞，拜拜，拜拜，拜拜，
再见，
再见，再见，哎。